Hi, in this video I'm going to be going over the basics of a term called diplomacy. Now you may be asking yourself, what is diplomacy? You might have heard it as another word, negotiation. Now here's a brief definition of diplomacy. Diplomacy is the act of reaching an agreement or understanding with another party, usually in a political setting. So there's a few key principles that I'm going to be going over, and it's 5 to be specific. The first principle is going to be understand what you want. In a Model United Nations conference and you're dealing with international diplomacy, you want to know what your policy is. You want to know what the United States policy is if you're the United States. You want to know what China's policy is if you're representing China. It's extremely important that when you go into a negotiation with another country, that you know exactly what your country wants. It helps you stay true to character, and it helps you know the facts behind what you're saying, and it makes it much, much easier to negotiate. The second point you want to remember is know what you cannot compromise on. Usually when you're in a negotiation, there's going to be compromises. When one party gets everything they want and another party gets nothing they want, that's a win-lose situation. And a good delegate knows how to create win-win situations, not win-lose situations or lose-lose situations. When you know what you cannot compromise on, you know where to draw the line in negotiations. You know where to tell the other party, look, I respect your opinion, I understand why you want these opinions, but we cannot compromise on this. If you are extremely dead set on regulating banks in the international context, you see another delegate and they want to be a little bit lenient on ensuring the security of banks, you have to draw the line somewhere, and that's where your country, if that's what their belief is, draws the line. The third point is you want to go in understanding what the world wants. Now, you don't need to be an expert on every other country's policy, but you need to understand the general idea of what they're going to be going into. If you're in the WHO and you walk in, you want to know what China's policy, what Venezuela's policy is. You want to know what Brazil's policy is. So you have a researched opinion, and for one, you know who to work with. And two, you know what to avoid in the negotiation. When you know what a country does not want before you go in there, then you know that you can focus on what both of you want. The fourth point is go in to understand and listen and not to win. The art of diplomacy is also called the art of making friends. And the reason for that is because a friend listens and understands what another friend is going through. If you go inside of a conference and you say, I'm going to dominate and I'm going to smash and I'm going to get what I want, nobody is going to work with you because they don't have to work with you. So you go in to understand what their point of view is. You go in to truly listen to what they're saying. The best communicators are the best listeners. And when you're listening to what they want, you know how to express yourself and what you want. Finally, no matter what happens, stay cool, calm, and collected. Things can get heated when you're in a negotiation. Let's say you're day 3 inside of a conference and your working paper is 40 pages long, but one of the delegates who wrote 4 of those pages want to pull their clauses out. How do you deal with that situation? If you just shout and yell and say, no, this isn't going to happen, well, it's going to happen. So keeping that cool, calm, collected presence inside of the room establishes yourself as a leader and lets everybody else in the room know that they can come to you to talk. And that is the most important part about diplomacy. It's the communication of it. When one party meets another party and they reach a mutual understanding, that is the art of diplomacy.